What is going on, everybody? Been a diehard Pistons fan since 2003 and starting to get very optimistic about this Pistons team. In today's video, I want to talk about everything related to Malik Beasley. Malik Beasley has been an unreal free agent signing for the Pistons. He is a huge reason why the Pistons are currently 2 games above 500 in mid-January. So I want to go through, give him his flowers for everything he has done so far this year. I want to talk about his role going forward with the team. And I also want to touch on the potential of bringing him back on a new contract next year. So first things first, to talk about what Malik Beasley has done on the floor, you could spend all day with it. First of all, he's averaging 16.5 points per game for the Pistons, which is currently second most on the team behind Cade, since Jaden Ivey has of course gone down. He's doing so on 43% from the floor, 40% from 3 on 9.5 attempts per game. He's also chipping in 3 boards and 2 assists and a steal per night. The dude has just been great. But just looking at the stat sheet, that doesn't even tell the whole impact of what Malik Beasley has done for this team, because he also is able to make players around him better, definitely on the floor, but it seems off the floor as well. So, of course, Malik Beasley's three-pointers are nice because they go in. That has been a huge reason for the Pistons igniting many big runs they have gone on in a lot of these games, whether that be to build a lead or to crawl back from a deficit. But his ability to shoot the ball changes the way that the floor appears for everybody else on the team. When he is spotting up on the wing near the hash or in the corner, teams are not able to help off of him and come double Cade. They're not able to help off of him and come contest a lob that Cade's about to throw to Duren. They have to guard him out on the perimeter at all times because he is so deadly, shooting 9.5 attempts from 3, making 40% of those. So the way that he is able to space the floor for everybody else on this team will never show up on the stat sheet, but what he does for this team just is huge. And it shows in the on-off numbers as well. Currently, if you look at the Pistons' on-off numbers, he is as good as it gets on our team. When he comes on the floor, there's a huge improvement, and when he is not on the floor, it's the opposite. Currently, as of today, he is plus 4.5 on the floor, which is third on the team, only behind Cade and Tobias Harris. And that totally checks out because we're a better team when he's on the floor, not only because he's making those three-pointers like we said, but he spaces the floor for everybody else. And that's just the on-floor impact on one side of the ball. Malik Beasley is clearly bringing a lot to this team in the locker room, but I don't like to talk about that stuff a whole lot just because it's impossible for me to say I'm not in the locker room. I have no insider information, but I watch so much Pistons related content and everything surrounding it that I feel like it's a fair thing to say and lay out that he has been a huge vet and mentor for the young players on this team. Just a few days ago, he was streaming on Twitch and he was playing Call of Duty with Sasser, Wendell Moore, and Dennis Jenkins. Jaden Ivey was in the chat. It's just very clear that the Pistons' young players really look up to him and model the way that they carry themselves after Malik, and that definitely can't go unsaid. I watch a lot of the older players' podcasts. I'm sure you guys all know how many of those exist now. And so many of them talk about the importance of having veterans in the locker room just to kind of teach the younger guys how to navigate their way through the league. And I think Malik Beasley has done as good a job of that as anybody possibly could have for this team. So not only is he spacing the floor on the floor, and while he's knocking down shots, he's also helping this team come together in the locker room. Man, best free agent signing we've had in quite some time. Now that's the tricky part. The Pistons signed Malik Beasley on a 1-year, $6 million deal this offseason. It was a very clear prove-it deal after he signed a deal very similar in Milwaukee the season before for another 1-year deal. So I think it's safe to say what Malik Beasley has tried to do over the past 2 years is take 1-year deals just to get a chance to show teams that he is worth more money. Before that 1 year in Milwaukee and before the Pistons year this year, he was making anywhere between $13 and $15 million during his time with the Timberwolves and Lakers. And I think it's safe to say that Malik Beasley not only deserves that type of money, and has earned that type of money, but that's probably what he's looking for going forward as well. People were joking around in the Twitch chat with him saying we need to get Malik a lifetime contract, which if we could, I'd do it. That's how great he has been. But, he pretty much just said, we'll see what happens, all that type of stuff. So we have to make the money work for him. I am far from a cap expert, but here's a couple things that I do know. Number one, since he is on this 1 year, $6 million deal, which is a great deal, he can't be extended currently. So I've heard people saying in comment sections of my videos or other places online, we need to extend Malik Beasley. Well, we can't. We have to let him hit free agency this summer. That's just how things are, and that's how this is going to go. So he's going to have to hit free agency. I saw Kukahil, Locked On Pistons podcaster, ask Keith Smith, who is a cap space expert, on what the Pistons can actually offer Malik Beasley this offseason to retain him. And what Keith Smith said was, using the non-bird rights, the most they can offer is $7.2 million for first-year salary, or they can use the non-taxpayer mid-level exception, which is projected to start around $14 million in first-year salary. Now, it's really hard to speculate on the type of money that it will take to bring Malik Beasley back this offseason, especially since I was very off the mark on what the going rate for a lot of players was going to be this previous offseason. But here's what I will say. Whatever it takes, just get it done. Malik Beasley has been so instrumental to spacing the floor for Cade Ivey, to being a mentor in the locker room, and just bringing good vibes in general to this team that we have to retain him. We just have to. There's no other way around about it. The Pistons have to find a way to sign Malik Beasley to a longer term deal, not another 1 year contract. The dude is like my age. He's 28 years old. So there's no reason to believe that he's got limited years in front of him, at least not to any sort of crazy extent where you'd expect for him to fall off within the next 3 seasons. So I don't know. I would be shocked if any of you all feel differently, but the Pistons just have to do whatever it takes to retain Malik Beasley this offseason, because he has already became such a core piece of the identity that the Pistons have built on and off the floor. I really, really don't want to get ahead of myself when saying that, but I just have to trust my eyes and what I'm watching on a night in and night out basis. And what my eyes are telling me is that Malik Beasley has added so much to this team that if you were to lose him for nothing in free agency, it would be such a disservice to the other young players within this core, and it would be so disappointing because he has just been so good this year. So let me know what you guys think, and we'll catch up soon.